for most of my life, we were just the center of the world for geese. I mean, we were. I mean, if you want to put a pin on a map where you go find geese in the winter, the Texas coast would certainly be one of those pins. And all through the 70s and 80s and 90s, numbers of white geese and speckled-bellies were going up. But about that time, in the 90s, we started to see some declines in our Canada goose numbers. The big Canadas largely had quit coming already. I didn't see many big Canadas in my life, a few. But when you saw them, it was like, wow, there's some big Canadas. And occasionally somebody would shoot one, but they were largely gone, and they shifted somewhere else. But we still had tons of smaller Canadas, just tons of them. But then that started changing in the sometime in the 90s, maybe mid 90s, latter part of the 90s, mid 90s. But we still had tons of speckled-bellies and tons of white geese, and that was largely on the increase. But then in 2003, something changed. I mean, that was that was a level of birds that we had not seen. It was like, man, this isn't good. And, you just wonder if it's a blip. But after, several years, you kind of think, no, it's not a blip. I mean, something's happening. And, I think we went from, in the late 90s, mid-late 90s, we went from having over 1.1 million snow geese in accounts. In 2003, we just went way down to 363,000, if I remember correctly. That's just white geese from the aerial survey. There's more than that, but that's what they counted. And, and then, now I think last winter we counted 288,000. Heck, there's been some years since, the last 10, 15 years, we've been down to like below 200, like 190, something like that. And also with that, we just don't see Canadas anymore. I mean, they're gone. The Canadas are gone. People see a few, but really, if you were looking, you would have, I think, an equal chance of seeing a whooping crane in the Texas coastal plain as you would a Canada goose. Probably better for me, for where I travel. I've had a better chance of seeing a whooping crane than I do a Canada goose. I'm not sure I saw or heard one all last year. I think I saw one the season before. I think. Just trying to, so, there are a few come down and people will shoot a few, but it's just like crazy. But now what we're losing big time are the speckled-bellies, the white fronts. And we used to be the center of the world for that bird in the late fall, and it'd just be the majority of the speckled-bellies in the central Mississippi Flyway would be on the Texas coast at the very end of October, 1st of November, along with a good sprinkling of snow geese. And then the snow geese would come big on the next big major front after that. And we went from counting 140, 50,000 speckled-bellies in those aerial surveys in their, like third week of December. And, by that time they're diffused and it's harder to count them. To like 15,000, 16,000. I mean, we'd have 500,000-600,000 of those birds here in very late October, 1st November, and I doubt you can find 50,000 now, 60,000. So it's probably down 90%.